because you know when men sort of cheat or when they leave you for other women, you do sort of have this lingering question and feeling of like, why was I not good enough for this person? Because you put in your all and you invested your all and you really loved and cared about this person, and it was, you didn't need anybody else because they fulfilled you enough. But with men it's usually the opposite, because a lot of the times men are insecure creatures, and the feeling of confidence and security within themselves as men in regards to their masculinity a lot of times stems from them getting into relationships with women and sleeping with women, aka fuck boys, you know, the whole thing of ghosting, cheating, being like a predominantly male dominated field. And it's sort of because men really feel like they have to chase the women, and get the women and get the sex and get the commitment, or the relationship, in order to feel like secure in themselves as men, and to get that feeling of secureness within themselves, right? Lack of insecurity and confidence within themselves. But the problem is they think that the only way they can get that is from another person, usually aka a woman. And then when they get into relationships or when they sleep with that woman, they kind of get it temporarily sometimes. I mean, I guess it differs with the men, but if they're in relationships for a long time, they'll get it then, and then one day they'll wake up and they'll meet somebody new and they'll get a different feeling for them. So they'll think like, oh, I don't no longer get that feeling from this person, I'm gonna bounce and go over to this person. And then they get that lingering feeling from them for a little while, but again, it usually doesn't last. Same thing with cheating, right? They'll hook up once, they'll get that satisfaction sort of quickly, and then they'll just like bounce and they'll ghost and they'll dump and whatever. But the thing that really I think shows and proves the lack of intellect and understanding, like emotional understanding within men, is that that feeling ultimately can never be received from other people. It can never be truly received externally, so that you have it within yourself eternally. The only way you can really get that feeling long term is within yourself. You can get it temporarily from other people, of course. Like if somebody sleeps with you, of course you feel like, oh wow, I'm desired, I'm loved, like people want to sleep with me or people want to date me. And you know, if I'm like in a relationship with this person and then I can go cheat and be with other people, then it's like even more validation, because I'm coming home to a relationship and then I'm going out and cheating with other people, and it's like double, triple, whatever, you know, serial cheaters exist as well for that specific reason. And it's just like they're chasing this feeling that they truly believe they can only gain externally, when in reality it can only really like truly be gained internally. But they don't want to admit that to themselves. They don't want to even like begin to rationalize that possibility of that truth, because then it means like having to deal with it internally and having to stop playing victim and sit down and realize like I'm the problem, but I'm also the solution at the same time, and I can get this feeling for myself, and I don't need to be cheating with all these people. I don't need to be getting into these relationships when I don't actually really truly unconditionally love the person. I'm just using them for that fulfillment, for that sex, for that physical intimacies, for that lack of loneliness, for that validation, so that other people in my life can validate me as like somebody who is desired to be in a relationship with, and like don't pressure me and bother me about like being in a relationship, right? So it's like getting other people to stop leaving you alone. For example, if you've been single for a really long time and people usually come to you like, when are you going to get into a relationship, or when are you going to start a family, when are you going to get married? And it's like, thank God people don't really bother me with those questions, because I think they really think I'm like a legitimate man hater and that I would like never ever in my life hook up with a man, which is not true. Okay, I'm very much still attracted to men, like heterosexually. Heterosexually, yeah, I am heterosexual, but it's just like I have standards. That's why it's not coming easily, that's why it's not coming often. And I also believe that most people that know me, and just even if they don't know me, they can take one look at me and realize like it's not because she couldn't get a man, like, do you know what I mean? Like it's not a problem at all for me to, and I promise that's not why I have the boobies out, but it's not like you can take one look at me and be like, oh, it's not because she's like not desired by men. Like, come on. And not from a sense of like, oh my god, like I'm so this, I'm so that. Like to myself I am, but I know just generally how I look is sort of fitting into that more generic attractiveness box for a lot of men, like having certain features and having certain accentuations. It just kind of makes a percentage of men automatically attracted to me. Again, it's not complimentary at all. I think when I was younger and when I was coming out of my insecurity and becoming more confident, it was still this like receiving that validation regardless still felt good. But now over the years that I've just truly come into my own confidence without needing external validation at all in regards to genuinely like any situation in my life, I can honestly say that it's not complimentary at all. In fact, it's quite insulting, because what I usually end up getting is men that just look at me, see me externally, and find that attractive and want to obtain that, just want to obtain my body and my face, and just for like their own selfish validation seeking needs, or just like even their physical needs, if they just want to, because I am objectified, I'm sexualized by men. Like, it happens practically every day of my life. And again, that's not a compliment. I'm not like, oh my god, like, men find me attractive. I don't give a fuck if men find me attractive. I don't give a fuck if men find me fuckable. This is something I thought I wanted when I was younger, because I was insecure and brought up as a woman in a society that my only sense of worth came from if other men wanted to fuck me. Now that I obviously understand that that was complete and utter bullshit, and my sense of validation comes from me, myself, and I, and that is plentiful and enough to live in this world and do whatever the fuck I want and be whoever the fuck I want, regardless if anyone agrees with that or likes that or accepts that, especially men.